Step back in time to the golden era of sitcoms with Three's Company, the show that brought endless laughter, unforgettable characters, and iconic moments to TV screens across America. From the quirky charm of Jack Tripper to the lovable antics of Janet and Chrissy, this beloved series became a cultural phenomenon. But where are the stars now? Join us as we take a nostalgic journey through time, revealing how the cast has changed over the decades, what they've been up to, and how they look in 2025. Some stories will warm your heart, others may surprise you. Whether you're a longtime fan or just discovering the show, this Then and Now feature is one you won't want to miss. John Ritter, who portrayed Jack Tripper, and briefly David Bell, in Three's Company, was 28 when he stepped into the role of the lovable, clumsy chef pretending to be gay to live with two women. Ritter's comedic timing and physical humor became iconic, but behind the laughter, his life was laced with personal tragedy. Despite professional success, his post-Three's Company years were marked by inconsistent roles and declining health. He married actress Nancy Morgan in 1977, and they had 3 children, Jason, Carly, and Tyler. Their marriage crumbled under the pressure of Ritter's fame and emotional struggles, and they divorced in 1996. He later married actress Amy Aspect, with whom he had a daughter, Stella, but their relationship too suffered due to Ritter's long absences and mood swings. He was plagued by guilt over not being present for his children and battled depression privately. Ritter died suddenly in 2003 at age 54 from an aortic dissection, leaving behind a shocked industry. At the time of his death, his estate was valued at around $20 million, though legal battles over wrongful death claims and hospital liability drained portions of it. He is remembered for his warmth on screen, but those closest to him knew a man burdened by expectations and inner pain that never truly healed. Joyce DeWitt, who portrayed Janet Wood, the sensible, intelligent, and level-headed florist, was 27 when Three's Company premiered. Her performance grounded the show's chaos, but while the character found balance, DeWitt's real life unraveled in silence. After the show ended, she retreated from Hollywood, frustrated by typecasting and bitter over-pay disputes with producers. She never married, though she had a long, tumultuous relationship with actor Ray Bucktenica, which ended in heartbreak. DeWitt reportedly endured 2 miscarriages and never had children. Estranged from her family for decades, she lived in seclusion, grappling with bouts of anxiety and heavy drinking. In 2009, she was arrested for DUI, a public sign of deeper struggles. Though she returned to the stage briefly in the 2000s, her career never regained momentum. Now 75, she lives alone in a modest Indiana home, surrounded by memories rather than people. Her estimated net worth is around $500,000, largely diminished due to poor financial decisions and legal expenses. Despite fan admiration, she remains a recluse, reflective and cautious, still feeling the wounds of a career that left her behind. Richard Klein, who joined Three's Company in 1977 as Larry Dallas, the slick, mischievous neighbor always chasing women, was 33 at the time and quickly became a fan favorite for his comedic flair. But Klein's off-screen life bore little of Larry's charm. His post-show career never quite took off, with sporadic guest roles and a brief stint on Broadway. He married former model Beverly Rand in 1981, and they had 1 daughter, Stephanie. But his infidelity and obsession with maintaining youth led to their divorce in 1992. Klein battled addiction quietly during the 1990s and reportedly entered rehab multiple times. Financial instability plagued him. He filed for bankruptcy in 2004 after a failed business venture and a lawsuit involving unpaid taxes. Though he found some peace in recent years, teaching acting workshops and directing small plays, he lives modestly in New Jersey. Now 81, Klein's net worth is estimated to be under $300,000. He remains estranged from his daughter and rarely speaks of his Three's Company days, viewing them as both a blessing and a curse that cast a long, unshakable shadow over the rest of his life. Don Knotts joined Three's Company in 1979 at age 55, portraying Ralph Furley, the flamboyant and bumbling landlord with loud clothing and desperate charm. While he rejuvenated his career with this role, Knott's personal life was steeped in sadness and solitude. Divorced twice, first from Catherine Metz and later from Laura Lee Chuckna, he had 2 children but was emotionally distant. His daughter, Karen, later spoke of his intense mood swings and long absences due to work. After Three's Company, Knott struggled with health issues, including macular degeneration that left him nearly blind. He lived alone for much of his later years, growing paranoid and reclusive. Despite appearing in some family films, he often spoke of regrets, including the time lost with his children and his inability to form lasting relationships. He died on February 24, 2006, at age 81 due to complications from lung cancer. At the time of his passing, his estate was estimated at $1.5 million, much of which went to medical expenses and settling debts. Remembered fondly by fans, those closest to him knew a man tormented by self-doubt and haunted by the fear of being forgotten. Suzanne Somers played Chrissy Snow, the bubbly, naive secretary with a heart of gold, joining Three's Company in 1977 at 31. Her comedic timing and vibrant presence made her a breakout star, but behind the scenes, her life was filled with turmoil. After being fired from the show over a salary dispute, Somers struggled to regain her Hollywood stature. Though she later reinvented herself through fitness and infomercials, the emotional damage lingered. She married Canadian producer Alan Hamill, a union that appeared loving but was often strained by business entanglements and public scrutiny. Her only son, Bruce Jr., from a previous marriage, had a distant relationship with her during his teenage years due to her career focus. Somers battled breast cancer for over 2 decades, and though she remained publicly optimistic, privately she dealt with chronic pain, fear of death, and a deep resentment toward Hollywood for turning its back on her. She passed away on October 15, 2023, just 1 day before her 77th birthday, after a long battle with cancer. At the time of her death, her estate was valued at approximately $100 million, built largely through her wellness empire. While financially successful, her final years were marked by physical suffering and emotional isolation. Priscilla Barnes, who portrayed Terry Alden in Three's Company, was 29 when she stepped into the role of the intelligent and nurturing nurse in 1981. Her performance brought depth and maturity to the final seasons of the show. Despite the exposure, Barnes struggled to break away from the image of Terry and found it difficult to land meaningful roles afterward, leading to a string of low-budget films and uncredited television appearances. Her career decline left her disillusioned with Hollywood. She married actor Ted Monty in 2003, but the couple separated in 2011 following years of personal turmoil and financial strain. They had 1 son, Matthew, who became estranged after their divorce. Barnes faced several tragedies in her life, including a car accident in 1997 that left her with chronic pain, a fire that destroyed her home in 2009, and a prolonged legal battle over unpaid taxes. Her later years have been marked by isolation and modest living in a small apartment in Nevada. Now 70, Barnes rarely appears in public and relies on a limited pension and occasional fan convention income. Her current net worth is estimated at under $100,000, a sharp contrast to the fame she once enjoyed. Her story remains a sobering example of how quickly Hollywood's spotlight can fade. Audra Lindley, who portrayed Helen Roper, the quirky and long-suffering wife of Stanley Roper, was 53 when Three's Company began in 1976. Her performance as the sexually frustrated yet endearing landlady became iconic and led to the spin-off The Ropers. While audiences loved her comedic timing, Lindley battled behind the scenes with typecasting and struggled to be taken seriously for dramatic roles. Off-screen, Lindley experienced heartache in her personal life. She was married to actor Hardy Ulm, but their marriage ended in divorce, and they had no children. Lindley later entered a long-term relationship with actor James Whitmore, but they never married. Her life was marred by a series of losses: the deaths of 2 close siblings in the 1980s, a breast cancer diagnosis in the early 90s, and the financial collapse of a business venture she had co-invested in. She continued acting in minor roles until her health declined. Audra Lindley passed away on October 16, 1997, from leukemia at age 79. At the time of her death, her estate was valued at approximately $600,000, much of which was donated to women's health charities, reflecting her quiet advocacy during her final years. Norman Fell, best known for portraying Stanley Roper, the cantankerous, penny-pinching landlord, was 52 when Three's Company began. His role as the grumpy yet oddly lovable husband brought him widespread recognition, but it also boxed him into similar roles for the rest of his career. After The Ropers was cancelled, Fell never regained his former fame. Behind the scenes, his life was complicated. He was married 3 times, each marriage ending in divorce. He had 2 children from his second marriage, David and Karen, but his relationship with them was distant. Fell struggled with alcoholism for years and entered rehab twice during the 1980s. He also suffered from chronic depression, exacerbated by career disappointments, and a failed attempt at directing. A fire at his home in 1994 destroyed much of his memorabilia, a loss that deeply affected him. Diagnosed with bone cancer in 1997, Fell passed away the following year on December 14, 1998, at age 74. At the time of his death, his estate was estimated at $400,000. Despite the hardships, he remained a respected figure in television history, remembered fondly by former colleagues for his dry wit and professionalism. Jenna Lee Harrison, who portrayed Cindy Snow, the clumsy and sweet-natured cousin of Chrissy, was just 22 when she joined Three's Company in 1980. Her time on the show was brief, and though she brought an innocent charm to the character, she was never fully embraced by fans. After leaving the series, Harrison tried to rebrand herself with roles in Dallas and a few game shows, but her career steadily declined. She married NFL player Dennis Hara in 1993, but the marriage ended in divorce in 2005, with no children. Harrison later revealed in interviews that she suffered from undiagnosed bipolar disorder during the height of her fame, which contributed to erratic behavior and job instability. She faced multiple personal tragedies, including the suicide of her younger brother in 2002 and the foreclosure of her home in 2010. Now 66, Harrison lives a reclusive life in Northern California and is said to be financially dependent on a small inheritance left by her parents. Once a rising starlet, her estimated net worth today is around $50,000, and she rarely makes public appearances. Her life has become a quiet reflection of faded stardom and mental health struggles that went unnoticed for too long. Anne Wedgeworth, who joined Three's Company in 1979 as the seductive and confident Lana Shields, was 45 at the time. Her character, who frequently pursued Jack Tripper, was a stark contrast to the other women on the show. Despite her comedic talent, Wedgeworth was abruptly written off after just 9 episodes, reportedly due to creative conflicts with producers. After leaving the show, she struggled to find roles that matched her capabilities. Though she later found minor success on the soap opera Another World, she never again achieved mainstream recognition. Wedgeworth was married to actor Rip Torn from 1956 to 1961, and they had 1 daughter, Danae. Her second marriage to acting coach Ernie Martin lasted until his death, but the union was often strained by his substance abuse issues. Wedgeworth endured several personal tragedies, including the death of her only grandchild in a car accident in 2004 and being diagnosed with dementia in her final years. She passed away on November 16, 2017, at the age of 83 due to complications from the disease. At the time of her passing, her estate was valued at approximately $700,000. Despite her brief stint on Three's Company, she left a mark as one of its most memorable guest characters. Jordan Charney, who portrayed Frank Angelino and Mr. Layton in Three's Company, was 42 when he joined the cast in 1979. Known for his stern demeanor and strict expectations, Charney's characters added tension and comic conflict to the workplace scenes. Though he found brief fame on the show, his post-Three's Company career never regained momentum, often relegated to minor television appearances and theater roles that went unnoticed. Personally, Charney's life was marked by solitude. He married theater director Elaine Winston in 1965, and they had one son, Daniel, but the couple divorced in the late 1980s after years of drifting apart emotionally. Daniel became estranged from his father following the divorce, and Charney now lives alone in a small apartment in upstate New York. Despite his age, now 88, he rarely receives visitors and survives on a modest pension. His later years have been filled with regret over lost family connections and missed opportunities in Hollywood. Once respected in acting circles, Charney now lives largely forgotten by the industry he once served. His net worth is estimated at $150,000, mostly tied to residual checks and limited royalties from his past TV work. He continues to decline interviews and avoids public appearances altogether. Brad Blaisdell, who played Mike the bartender in Three's Company, was 41 when he joined the show in 1981. His warm and supportive character served as a quiet anchor amidst the chaos of the main trio's antics. Though Blaisdell was beloved for his steady presence, his acting career dwindled after the show ended, relegated to background roles and uncredited parts in television. He struggled deeply with alcoholism during the 1990s, a problem that strained his marriage to costume designer Linda Sturgis. The two divorced in 1994 after 15 years of marriage. They had 2 children, Jason and Emily, who were largely raised by Linda after Brad's erratic behavior and mounting financial troubles made co-parenting impossible. Brad attempted to rebuild his life by running a small acting workshop in Los Angeles, but declining health and depression took their toll. He passed away in 2018 at the age of 69 from complications of cancer and heart disease. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at only $30,000. His ashes were scattered near the Pacific Ocean, a place he once called his sanctuary during the darker days of his life. William Pearson, who portrayed the no-nonsense Dean Travers in Three's Company, was 51 when he took on the role in 1977. His gruff, academic character often clashed with the show's light-hearted tone, creating memorable friction in several episodes. Pearson, a seasoned stage actor, struggled to adjust to the sitcom environment, and though he was respected, he never felt truly accepted. His career after the show was marked by professional rejection and a slow withdrawal from public life. He married his college sweetheart, Evelyn Ramsey, in 1953, and they had one daughter, Claire. However, their marriage suffered under the weight of Pearson's bitterness toward Hollywood and the isolation he imposed on the family. Evelyn filed for divorce in 1982, citing emotional neglect. Claire remained distant, choosing to raise her own family without involvement from her father. Pearson died in 2004 at age 78 from respiratory failure. He passed away in a small assisted living facility in New Jersey with no family at his side. At the time of his death, his estate was estimated at $85,000, most of it tied up in savings bonds and a modest pension. Despite the bleak end, a few loyal fans still remember his stern face from reruns. Gino Conforti, who brought life to the exuberant and endearing Chef Felipe in Three's Company, joined the cast at age 49 in 1981. His portrayal of a hardworking immigrant with a passion for food provided a colorful and cheerful contrast to the show's otherwise frenetic energy. However, after Three's Company, Conforti found it increasingly difficult to escape the stereotype of the overly enthusiastic ethnic side character. This limited his options, leading to years of sporadic guest spots and staged performances. Conforti married French actress Soline Marchand in 1963, and they had 3 children, Marco, Lisette, and Andre. While their early marriage was filled with international travels and stage collaborations, the couple eventually separated in 1989 due to Conforti's long absences and his growing frustration with his fading fame. None of his children pursued acting, and his relationship with them became strained over time. Now 93 years old, Conforti lives in a retirement community in California. He occasionally writes letters to his children, hoping to reconnect, but rarely hears back. His estimated net worth is $200,000, mostly from union pensions and modest investments. Despite the colorful character he once played, his real life is quiet and marked by a sense of nostalgic sorrow. Toph O'Connell, who played multiple small roles in Three's Company, including Barbara Howard and Ellen Simmons, was 36 when she joined the show in 1979. Her characters, often seductive or quirky, were used to add comedic tension or visual appeal, but O'Connell herself longed for more meaningful parts. After her brief stint on the show, she struggled to be taken seriously, typecast in horror films and low-budget B-movies. The most famous of these, Galaxy of Terror, haunted her career, and she later revealed it contributed to her chronic depression and anxiety. She married TV producer Glenn Wallace in 1985, and they had one son, Matthew. Their marriage was rocky, with multiple separations due to her mood disorders and his infidelity. They finally divorced in 2001. Matthew later revealed that their home life was unstable, and he distanced himself from both parents. Now 80 years old, O'Connell lives alone in a modest home in Oregon, rarely seen in public. She has written several unpublished memoirs and maintains a blog that discusses her mental health battles and regrets over her acting career. Her current estimated net worth is around $100,000. She survives on Social Security and occasional fan mail, holding on to the memory of the brief time she felt seen. Which character from Three's Company is your favorite? How do you feel knowing that some of the cast members have passed away? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for your support.